Have you ever wondered how your favorite apps can update so quickly and seamlessly? Well, the secret is something called service-oriented architecture, or SOA for short. Now, forget all the complex code for a second and just think about it like this. What if you could build software like you build with Lego blocks instead of, pouring one giant slab of concrete? That one little shift in thinking, it changes absolutely everything.
I mean, that's just a crazy question, isn't it? Demolish your whole house just to fix a tiny leaky faucet? But for a really long time, this was exactly what building software felt like. Making one small change could literally risk bringing the entire structure crashing down. This was a massive problem that just had to have a better solution. In this slide, well, it lays out the two philosophies perfectly. On one side, you have the old way, the monolith. It's just one giant, inseparable block. Everything is fused together. But on the other side, you've got the service-oriented way, built from all these smaller, independent, interchangeable parts. You can already see which one is going to be a whole lot easier to work with. So let's talk about that old way for a second, what we call the monolithic approach. Just imagine your application is one single solid block of concrete. All the code for every single feature, user logins, payments, you name it, it's all permanently fused together. So what happens when you want to update the payment system? Well, you risk cracking the whole thing, including the user login system. It makes every single change difficult and honestly incredibly risky. Okay, but now let's look at the smarter way to do things, the Lego block method. This is the core idea behind service-oriented architecture. Instead of one solid, fragile block, your application is a collection of individual, specialized bricks that just snap together. You need a new feature or have to fix a bug? No problem. You just pop one block out and snap a new one in. It's really that simple. So here's how that actually works in the real world. An application isn't one giant program anymore. It's more like a team of specialists. You might have a login service, a totally separate payment service, and another user profile service. Each one is its own small, self-contained program that does one job and does it perfectly. And they all just talk to each other to give you that final app experience you see on your screen. So, here's the formal definition for you. Service-oriented architecture is just a way of building software using these independent components, or services as we call them. Each service handles one specific job, and here's the real magic. They can all be built with totally different technologies and still communicate perfectly with each other. So, why does all of this really matter? Why did the entire tech industry pretty much universally adopt this way of thinking? Well, it all boils down to three huge, game-changing wins. First up, speed. With SOA, developers don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. It's like if you've already built a perfectly good authentication service for one app, you can just reuse that Lego block in a completely different one. This just dramatically cuts down on development time and cost because, well, you're not starting from zero every time. The second huge win is maintenance. It's so much easier. Imagine there's a bug on the login page. In that old monolithic world, you'd have to sift through that entire concrete block of code. With SOA, you know the problem is in one specific, isolated service. You can just go right to it, fix it, and update only that one component without touching or risking the rest of the application. And the third big win is adaptability. Technology never, ever stands still. With SOA, you don't have to throw everything out and start over when something new comes along. You can take a service from an older system, wrap it up, and plug it directly into a modern cloud-based application. It lets businesses evolve piece by piece, not through some massive, expensive teardown. Okay, so we've got all these independent services, right? These Lego blocks, but how do they actually work together? How do they talk to each other to get things done? Well, the process is actually beautifully simple. In any interaction, you've really only got two key players. First, you have the consumer. That's the part of the app that needs something done. Think of it like a client asking a question. And then you have the provider. That's the service that has the answer or performs the task. It's like a server ready to respond. The conversation between them is just a simple two-step dance. First, the consumer sends a request. This could be anything from, hey, can you validate this password, to please process this credit card payment. Then, the provider does the work and sends back a response. Something like, yep, password correct, or payment approved. And that's it. That's the whole exchange. Super clean and simple. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. This isn't just some abstract theory for programmers. This architecture is the engine behind the agile, fast-moving digital world we all live in. It's really how we build software for a future that is constantly changing. And this is the ultimate takeaway for you. The reason your favorite apps can add new features, fix bugs, and improve their performance almost overnight is because of this architecture. They aren't rebuilding the entire app from scratch. Nope, they're just adding or swapping out a few Lego blocks. And that really leaves us with a final thought. The next time you see an update notification pop up on your phone, just take a second and think about what's happening behind the scenes. Chances are they didn't have to rebuild the entire wall. They just swapped out a single, perfectly designed brick.